Assalamu alaikum. Hello, good morning. So today I want to talk to you about homeschooling during pregnancy. So are you pregnant right now and you're struggling to maintain your homeschool, or are you thinking about having more children and you're worried about what impact that will have on your existing children and on your existing homeschool? Well, then I hope that you are in the right place. I'm going to be talking about some hacks and some advice to help you to get through homeschooling when you're pregnant. My name is Dr. Gemma Elizabeth. I am the founder of OurMuslimHomeschool.com and the host of this podcast, Raising Mums. And I come on here every Sunday at 10 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time to chat with you all about things related to homeschooling and motherhood and parenting. And if you want to watch this again, if you can't stay for the whole live session, don't worry. It'll be uploaded onto my website, OurMuslimHomeschool.com, and it'll be uploaded onto YouTube as well, and the podcast Raising Mums too. And also, before we get into the topic, I want to introduce today's sponsor. So this podcast is being sponsored by WordUnited.com. Word United, they sell books, they publish books actually, and they sell toys and educational resources. But today they asked me to highlight their free resources hub. So if you go to wordunited.com/resources, you'll find hundreds of free resources to download, print, or share, and their blog, so wordunited.com/blog, and that includes loads of videos and lots of ideas and links to free printables to make learning fun. I checked it out and it's actually really amazing. They put it together so beautifully. It's very professionally done. There's videos that go along with resources, so do check it out. It's wordunited.com/resources. And they have resources for English, history, foreign languages, including Arabic and French, science, geography, arts, and even resources for special needs kids. So I think it's a brilliant resources bank for you to check out. So that's wordresources.com/resources, or check out their blog too. So thank you, Word United, for sponsoring today's episode. Right, so you are here to learn about homeschooling during pregnancy. As if homeschooling wasn't hard enough, you want to add in nausea, vomiting potentially, aches and pains, not sleeping all night, indigestion all day long, and the mood swings. Oh my days, the mood swings. And to all of that, you want to homeschool your children? First and foremost, I want to acknowledge you and celebrate you because you are doing something phenomenal. You want to homeschool your children when you're in a really difficult situation. And that is rare and that is something to be celebrated. So I want to acknowledge you and celebrate you for the fact that you're doing something incredible and trying to better yourself. So in my experience of 4 pregnancies, I have learned some hacks. I've learned some tips that have helped me to sustain my homeschool without the children suffering, without their education suffering. And that's what I want to share with you today. And these ideas are not too hard to implement. They're not difficult. In fact, they make your life easy because that's what it's all about, isn't it? We want ideas that are going to reduce the amount of work we have to do and ideas that are easy to do and are going to maintain that homeschooling experience for your children. Right, first and foremost, and I'm sure that you knew I was going to tell you this, you must prioritize your health. You have to prioritize your health, not just because you're pregnant, but because you're homeschooling when you're pregnant. There is no homeschool without a homeschool mum. So you have to prioritize your health. So whatever that looks like for you, maybe that means you prioritize your sleep. Maybe it means that you prioritize what you eat, or just eat at all. There are so many mums I know who go the whole day without eating anything, or they just graze on chocolate digestives all day. That's not going to sustain you. You're just going to burn out if you're doing that. You must prioritize your health. Maybe it means you get help from other people, from your family, maybe you employ somebody, like a cleaner or somebody to teach the kids. You must prioritize your resting, eating well, and looking after yourself emotionally and physically if you want to sustain homeschooling during pregnancy. And I have done previous episodes on that. So if you want to check out how supermoms do it all and run your home like a boss, part 1 and part 2, it covers that much more deeply. And they're on the podcast Raising Mums and on my website too. Right. Now I'm going to go through some other ideas. Any books or resources I mentioned will be on the coordinating blog post that goes along with this episode. and I will publish that later on today, and I'll leave a link for that in the show notes to this episode. So the next idea, when you're homeschooling and you're pregnant, get more homeschool bang for your buck. What do I mean by that? I mean, like typically when we think about education, especially if we went to school, we think of lessons as history, then we have science, then we have English, then we have French. You know, all the subjects are compartmentalized. What about if we could bring them all together into the same lesson, using the same resources? Get your more homeschool bang for your buck. So let me give you an example. We have been using this book a lot during my pregnancy. So this is Beautiful Stories from Shakespeare for Children. And this is a retelling of the Shakespeare plays in a story form. Easier for children, but still a little bit challenging. So what if you used this book and you read from this book a section, and then you took from it one sentence, and that was the children's copywork. And then you took some words from it, and that was the children's spelling. And what if the play was set in a historical time period? Well, that's their history done. What about if you got a narration? That's English composition. What about dictation, where you read a sentence out loud to your child, and they copy it down without hearing it? They're learning grammar, they're learning spelling, they're learning the power of concentration. All of these things are being brought into one lesson. You're getting more homeschool bang for your buck. It's also very easy to bring science and maths lessons into one, and bring in maths into whatever you're learning in your science lesson. I do not mean in this situation to create elaborate unit studies. This is not the case. I just mean pick up whatever book you're using right now and create lessons around that. See what you can create around the same lesson that you're already doing, so you don't have to then pick up another book for history and another book for English and another book for spelling. See what you can do with what already you're using. The next idea, and that idea goes really well actually with Charlotte Mason philosophy. So if you're already doing Charlotte Mason, or you're hoping to start implementing her educational philosophy in your home, that idea works really well, because she spoke about this idea that education is the science of relations, i.e. that basically means that all knowledge is connected, all knowledge is interwoven because it's from the same source. And so in this way, you're interweaving all that knowledge together. If you have any questions about that, feel free to pop them in the comments. I'm happy to answer questions at the end, as long as my baby doesn't wake up. So yeah, feel free to ask questions as we go along. The next idea, when you're pregnant and you've got no energy and it's particularly, a difficult part in the pregnancy. So for me, that was first trimester. Use open and go homeschool curricula. Now, typically I don't like open and go homeschool curricula. It doesn't spark my passion, but when you are going through difficult times, they can be a lifesaver. So what do I mean by open and go curricula? Basically, you open the book, or you turn on the website, and your child can work through it independently. Open and go. They don't need your input. You don't need to prepare. They just read the page or read the screen, and then they're good to go. So I've got a few here that I'm going to talk you through. Again, if you want links for these, they will be on the coordinating blog post to this episode. So Pandia Press, they do some great open and go curricula for history and science, mystery science. I've spoken about that before online. They have like video lessons, and then your child does some questions at the end, and there's a lot of group discussion in them, so they're great for science. Scholastic Maths, where have I got? Here, which one's Scholastic? Scholastic Maths. They have some great workbooks. You can get them on Amazon. For maths, I particularly like the maths ones. CGP. A lot of homeschoolers will use these books. Again, open and go, very easy for your child to work through independently, as long as they're reading confidently. And they have books basically in every subject, maths, English, science, for every age as well, I think. And so you can find them on Amazon as well. I'll leave the link for that. Another open and go curriculum, which is good for younger kids, is Reading Eggs. And there's a free trial on at the moment. I'll leave the link for that in the blog post, where you get 30 days free. So they have a reading program and a maths program called Math Seeds, and that is for children aged 2 to 11. So again, that is a great way for your children to maintain their reading practice or their maths practice using the computer with very little input from yourself during those times when it's really tough. I wouldn't recommend you use open and go curricula all the time, because like I said, they're not very inspiring, but when you have to, you have to. So there you go. The next thing, which I hope is obvious when you're pregnant, you've got to simplify things. unless it brings you a lot of joy, don't start planning complicated art projects or hands-on projects or making a diorama of something or planning long field trips away. You don't know when you're pregnant what the next week's going to be like, and you definitely don't have the energy for anything complicated. For goodness sake, don't start a new curriculum in the middle of your pregnancy, and you really, really have to, and unless it's making things easier for you. Take it simple. Make it simple. Simplify what you're doing. Don't forget audiobooks as well. I used audiobooks a lot when I was pregnant. They are great to catch up on reading for your kids, whether it's literature or science or history. There are a plethora of really good quality audiobooks out there. I like Audible. Also Quantum Chronicles does a great one for Islamic audiobooks. And if you go there and use the code Homeschool15, you'll get 15% off the Quantum Chronicles audio series. So I think those were the main points. So if I just recap, we've got prioritize your health. Please prioritize your health. There's no homeschool without homeschool mum. Prioritize your health. The second one was get more homeschool bang for your buck. So incorporate lessons together into the same lesson. Incorporate disciplines into the same lesson. So I've got another one here. Wind in the Willows. So this is a great piece of children's literature. Your child, you can read this to your child, or your child can read it to you. That's his reading practice. They copy out a sentence. That's their handwriting. You ask them to spell a few words. That's their spelling. Maybe they draw a picture. Maybe they give a narration, a dictation. Maybe you can have them look up some of the animals that are in here. That's their science. That is getting more homeschool bang for your buck. The next one, use open and go curricula. So literally, a book or an online program that your child can work through independently, that you don't need to be there holding their hand. You need to be around in case they get stuck, but for the most part, they can work through it independently. And what was the last one? It was simplify. Please simplify things. Don't make your life harder than you have to. Don't do long field trips unless you love going on field trips. Don't start doing complicated art projects unless, again, that brings you a lot of joy. So simplify your homeschool as much as you can. And don't forget your audiobooks. So all of that will be on the coordinating blog post to this episode. All the links and everything, all the names for the stuff I've mentioned will go up within the hour, and I'll pop that up on Facebook and on Instagram so you can go to that link. And if you're watching the replay of this, it's in the show notes. So I'm just going to go through the comments now, and any questions, just pop them up now. So we've got one on Facebook. So the sister has asked for the links and she missed. Okay, so yeah, no problem, sister. The links for everything that I've just mentioned will be on the blog post. And if you missed the beginning, it doesn't matter. You can go to the website and to that same blog post and watch the video or listen to the podcast there. It's all accessible. All previous episodes are accessible, and you can listen to them and recap whenever you want to. So that will be up within the hour after this live session finishes, inshallah. Okay, let's check out Instagram. Okay, I'm just scrolling through. Oh, mashallah, a lot of cool people come on today. Walaikum salam, Shazia, nice you're here. Nadia, I'm so glad you're here too, mashallah. Latifa, could you please give the name of the website for the resources? Yeah, sure. So our sponsor is wordunited.com, and their resources page is wordunited.com/resources. It's really, really excellent. I'm so pleased that they are sponsoring this episode because I love the stuff that they put out. So that's wordunited.com/resources. Thank you, Nadia. Assalamu alaikum, Zainab. Oh, the sisters from Aina here. Okay. My children love reading aids. Yeah, reading aids is awesome. It's really good. I've used reading aids for all my children. And actually, if you're watching live, that 30-day free trial is the link is in my bio on Instagram. So you can check that. You get 30 days free, no obligation. And then if you like the program, you can buy it. I've used it for all three of my older kids to teach them to read, to that sort of beginning stage where they're learning phonics. And I use that in conjunction with books. And it's worked really, really well to teach them reading. They're all reading well, mashallah. So yeah, people have asked what the websites were again. I'm happy to repeat that for you, but it will be on the blog post. So there's Pandia Press for history and science, Mystery Science for the video science lessons, and reading eggs with the three that I recommended. Samira, glad you're here. Walaikum salam. Okay, so I think we're good. Can't see any more questions here. So I'll end the video now. So just to recap, everything I've mentioned will be on my website, ourmuslimhomeschool.com/blog. You can get all the links to the resources there. The video will be up there. The podcast will be up there within 24 hours too. And next week, I'll be joining you live again, Sunday at 10 a.m. I'm still debating what the topic's going to be, but I'm thinking about doing something about when you lose yourself as a mother and how to find yourself again. I'm thinking about it. That might be the topic. I will let you know on my stories on Facebook and on Instagram what I decide. Oh, Sabine, walaikum salam. So glad you're here. So yeah. And I apologize, I started a little bit early today, but the baby fell asleep. And I thought, you know what, I better just jump on live now in case he wakes up and I don't get this opportunity again. So I hope that's all right. I hope you don't mind. And again, if you want to watch the replay, head over to ourmuslimhomeschool.com/blog and you'll be able to watch it there. Within the next hour, I should be able to get that uploaded, inshallah. So thank you again to wordunited.com for sponsoring this episode. Thank you everybody who joined on live. It's so nice to have you here. Sabrina, assalamu alaikum. You just joined in right at the end now. But yeah, alhamdulillah. Thank you for joining me and I'll see you next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.